Is this a great game or what? With the Hall of Famer Tim Kurkjian, I'm his son, Jeff Kurkjian. And Dad, I'm actually recording my portion of the episode today from my office. And really fast, you see what is behind me in this shot? I just went into a random studio. Dad, this is like I would call it a 14-inch television with a built-in VCR.
Yeah, I would love to have one
like
of those
something of your dreams
back in our house. I told you, Jeff, I bought a DVD player so I could play like Kelly's high school basketball tape or anything else. And, I got like the last one at Best Buy or wherever I got it. And they all looked at me like, why would you want something like this? Well,
Right.
Of course I had it. I played it like 5 times and now it doesn't work. It doesn't play anything anymore. So I need one of those little TVs where I can just take a DVD and put it in and watch it on a television. Is that too much to ask?
I don't think it's too much to ask. And Dad, I'll tell you, I can't believe that now already DVD players have become just so null and void. Because I remember when, VHSs were around, of course. I'm 32. But then when those went away, I was like, okay, I get it. But now the fact that nobody has a DVD player anymore, nobody has I just bought a new truck in April. No CD player in there, Dad. Like, everything's changing. It's so crazy. And to think that my daughter, McKinley, will never know what it's like having to please be kind and rewind before you take it back to Blockbuster. Anytime a commercial comes up, Dad, like on YouTube or anything, like she's like, what's going on?
Right.
Like, what is this? Because when we watch any Disney movie or anything, it's on Disney Plus, or we watch something on Netflix. It's on Netflix, no commercials. So she didn't even know what a commercial is.
Right. Well, I watched Paw Patrol with Carson Keenahan the other day, and we had like 3 commercials, and he said, what happened to Paw Patrol? So I had to explain, well, they have commercials on what we're watching. If you have a DVD and a DVD player, you don't have to worry about commercials. But you know what I did the other day, Jeff? You'd be proud of me, since I don't have a DVD player in my car. I learned how to tee up something on my phone, which is synced up to my car, and I put some songs on and listened to them on the way home from Bristol the other night.
Wow.
Yeah.
What were you using to listen to the music? YouTube?
I went to
or were you...
Safari. I put in the songs that I wanted to listen to. Jackson Browne, Bruce Hornsby, Elton John, the only artists that I even know. And I typed in some of my favorite songs, and pow, they came out on the radio in my car. That was revealing to me, Jeff. First time I've ever done that before. Should I have known that before? I've had the car for a year, Jeff. Should I have known that?
Yeah, I mean, you've been able to do that in vehicles for a long, long time, but there are like streaming sites, like you can go to Apple Music that's already on your phone, or you can go to Spotify and you can just like play those, Pandora. You don't have to go to Safari. I think you did a great job finding it. You can go to YouTube even and play songs off of YouTube. I'll have to show you. Like on my phone, I have Spotify, right? So if I wanted to play, I could make a playlist, which is like a mixtape. Remember when you'd put songs on a tape? That's what a playlist is, right? And then you can just hit play on your playlist, and it'll play your favorite songs.
All right. These are the things I need to learn.
And it's like $4.99 a month.
Jeff.
$4.99 a month.
All right.
In order to, I'll teach you, Dad. Yeah. I mean, listen, I don't want to make
Jeff,
fun of you.
How many times have you used this sentence? Dad, I can show you. Like 1,000 times. Like, right? With everything that I struggle with, you said, Dad, I can show you how to do that.
Yeah, but I need to be careful because karma is a you-know-what, and one day my daughter is going to be doing that to me. I may be in the prime of my technological life as a 32-year-old with laptops and studios and phones and all this stuff, but like before I know it, I'm going to be you. I mean, look, I'm already getting the power alleys over here. Look at that. Look at this. I look just like you. Jeff, what is going on?
Jeff, look, I got an on-deck circle on the top of my head right now. That's how big my bald spot is. So I don't want to listen to you, 32, about your hair. All right, how did McKinley's first T-ball game go? She's 2 years old and she's playing T-ball.
Yeah, she's part of this like toddler. I think I overestimated what it was going to be because I had no idea because my wife Emily signed her up. The bases were approximately 4 feet apart. So let's start there. And between each base there was like an obstacle. So there was like one of those rope ladders where you have to jump. So they would have to jump from home to go to first base. And the teacher, Coach Minnie, excuse me. Wow, Coach Minnie, did a great job with the kids. I mean, they were learning. They hit some balls off the tee. They were fielding. McKinley just really likes being out there in the field. I mean, she very much reminds me like as a defensive agent out there, a ninth inning replacement, not much of a hitter. She would hit the ball and then she would want to go get it herself because she likes fielding grounders and taking pop flies. That's where she makes her money in the toddler league. So, but she was great, Dad. She had an amazing time.
Good.
And it was so cool to see her starting her athletic career, so to speak.
Right. I love it, Jeff. It's awfully young, but I just love anything where the kids are going to be smiling and outside and doing something active. It's really, really good.
All right, Dad. This past week we celebrated Roberto Clemente Day, and it was tough because it was on Monday. We had an episode come out Tuesday, but we record on Monday afternoon, so we weren't really able to speak to Major League Baseball and Roberto Clemente Day. But what a day it was across the league.
Yeah, it's great. And let's just be clear who Roberto Clemente was, Jeff. Okay, first off, he was a hero. He died trying to help people, and he died in a plane crash delivering, goods and things like that to people who needed them. So let's first understand what a hero he was. But he's also one of the greatest players that I've ever seen. He is the greatest defensive right fielder of all time for me. He's the greatest throwing outfielder I know that I've ever seen. He's lifetime 317 hitter, won multiple batting titles, won an MVP. Larry Bowa once told me nobody in Larry Bowa's very long career hit the ball harder at him than Roberto Clemente. That's how great he was. And I'll never forget, Jeff, in spring training of 72. So this is his last, as it turns out, his last spring training. The Pirates came and played an exhibition game at RFK Stadium in Washington. And me and some of my buddies, Phil Howland, Uncle Matt, we all went to watch Roberto Clemente play. And I said to myself going there, I said, I just want to see two things. I want to see him hit a rocket line drive to right field because nobody hit the ball opposite field better than him, harder than him. And I want to see him throw. And of course, he hit a line drive single to right field. And my friend Phil Howland just screamed out loud, oh my God, there it is. That's a signature swing from Roberto Clemente. And then he made a throw from, deep right field to third base. And it was breathtaking to watch. So that's Roberto Clemente, one of the great players of all time and one of the great baseball heroes that we've ever seen.
Yeah, Dad, I think it's so incredible because he has such an important legacy, not just on the field, but off the field. And that's why we have the Roberto Clemente Award every single year. I think there's nothing more incredible than having an award named after you. Every single year we honor someone in Major League Baseball who's doing good outside of the game.
Right.
But it really does help that he was such an athlete and such a great player on the field too.
Right. And Rick Sutcliffe won the Roberto Clemente Award and told me it's the most prestigious award that he's ever won. And he won a Cy Young in the National League. But you win something that means what you're giving through the community, that matters more to a lot of people. Very impressive.
All right, Dad, do you want to jump into the takeaways across Major League Baseball?
Sure. Okay, Jeff, we're just going to continue the trend of the Cal Raleigh leading the takeaways. We can't get away from it. I mean, Tuesday's episode, we talked about him tying Mickey Mantle for the most home runs, 54, by a switch hitter in a season. Of course, he's now passed him because Tuesday night he had 2 homers in one game. So he's now got 56, most ever by a switch hitter.
Wow.
He's now got 56 homers, ties Ken Griffey Jr., the greatest Mariner ever, for the most homers hit in a season by a Mariner. And he's got 10 multi-homer games in one season. The record is 11 by Aaron Judge, Sammy Sosa, and Hank Greenberg, who did that in 1938. So the legend just grows and grows and grows, and it is setting up, Jeff, for one of the great MVP voting races in the history of the sport. Who do you pick, Aaron Judge or Cal Raleigh? It is really, really close. I hope it ends in a tie. I do, because both those guys deserve to win this award.
I mean, I think it's so hard because most valuable player. This is the debate that's had every single year, and I get it. You know, people argue you can't give it to a DH. How valuable are they in the field, right? Not that argument applies here, right? But a catcher, how valuable is a catcher? Every single play, calling games with his pitcher. I mean, obviously, I'm showing my bias towards giving it to Cal Raleigh currently, but I mean, it's really hard to be a catcher every day, and what goes into that. And then hitting that many home runs and being that important offensively.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say on the matter.
I'll just tell you that there are years, because I voted on these things for 43 years now. There are years where there are 2 MVPs. This is one of those years. And all I say is, do not scream at somebody who votes for somebody other than Raleigh. If you think Judge is the MVP and someone votes for Raleigh, that is not an incorrect choice, and vice versa. There are 2 MVPs this year. Just make a stronger case for one.
No doubt about it.
And
Dad.
yet Raleigh hit 2 homers, and he wasn't even the best player on his team in that game. The night he passed Mickey Mantle, Dominic Canzone went 5 for 5 with 3 home runs for the Mariners in the same game. Now, Jeff, he has 24 home runs in his career. He does have 10 of them this year. But a guy with 24 career homers went 5 for 5 with 3 home runs. All right, one more. I ask you this like every time someone hits 3 homers in a game, which is every week. Give me a couple of 500 home run hitters who never hit 3 in a game.
David Ortiz.
Right?
That's all I ever remember is David Ortiz.
Gary Sheffield. Rafael Palmeiro.
Yeah, okay.
And who never had a 5-hit game in his career? By the way, Jose Altuve's never had a 5-hit game, which we went over, right, which is incredible. And the best hitter, I believe, the best hitter in the history of the Mariners, Edgar Martinez, never had a 5-hit game, in part because he walked all the time, so he didn't get enough at bats to get a 5-hit game. But Dominic Canzone had 5 for 5 with 3 homers. It's just the beauty of baseball is that on a night where Cal Raleigh went deep twice, someone else out-hit him on his own team, and it wasn't the guy maybe that you thought it would be. All right, Jeff, speaking of great nights, Shohei Ohtani did this on Tuesday night. This was like the headline. Shohei Ohtani pitched 5 hitless innings and hit his 50th home run. I mean, just think about those 2 sentences together.
Crazy.
This kind of encapsulates who Shohei Ohtani is. Starts the game, pitches 5 no-hit innings, and hits a home run. So only 4 other pitchers have ever gone no-hitter through 5 innings of a game and hit a home run in the same game. Rick Wise is one of them, who I've told you. Do you remember the Rick Wise game that he had? All right, he pitched a no-hitter, Jeff, and hit 2 home runs. 1971 in a no-hitter. Right. Don Wilson did it also when I say 5 no-hit innings and hit a home run. Jim Tobin, the only pitcher to hit 3 home runs in a major league game ever. And Wes Ferrell, who might be the greatest hitting pitcher of all time. So Ohtani joins that group, but those guys didn't hit their 50th home run of the season in a game in which they pitched 5 no-hit innings. That's Shohei Ohtani.
My guess is none of them came close to even hitting 50 career home runs.
Well, yeah, I believe Wes Ferrell hit 36, which is the most ever by a pitcher. And his He was one of the great hitting pitchers. I'll tell you all Wes Farrell stories some other time. So this is the sixth player to go back to back with 50 homer seasons. Babe Ruth did it twice. Ken Griffey Jr., Alex Rodriguez, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, and now Shohei Ohtani. And I'm pretty sure Aaron Judge is going to join that. He's got 48 as we record here. He's going to hit 2 more homers the last 2 weeks of the season and then have 50 homers in back-to-back seasons. Jeff, I just hope people understand what we're watching here. With all this incredible stuff, to be able to say that, Jeff, in your baseball watching prime, you saw Judge and Ohtani, you can tell McKinley Hope that you grew up watching these guys play and do amazing things every night.
Well, and think about the time I was born in 1993, Dad. So I was 5 years old when Mark McGwire hit 70. My childhood was the steroid era, all of these big bombs, Barry Bonds, all of these guys. And now we're seeing a whole new generation. And McKinley always says, Dad, she loves it. Anytime she sees YouTube TV, which is what we use for our cable, pop up, she goes, "We watch baseball? Watch baseball." And then she's upset if you're not on the TV calling the baseball game. So I didn't want to tell you that because it might make me sad. But yeah, she loves watching baseball. That's
well,
for sure.
I'm so glad to hear that. All right, couple things, Jeff. For the Diamondbacks to still be in the race is just incredible. They kind of unloaded at the trade deadline. They had 17 guys who have a save this year. That's a major league record. They lost their best pitcher, Corbin Burns, early in the season. And Torey Lovullo has kept them, as well as some really good players still on that team, in contention in the National League. I actually got asked on a radio show the other day, do you think Torey Lovullo will get fired at the end of the season? I said, what? Is this a trick question? If he gets fired, which he won't, he will get a job in 5 minutes. That's how good a manager he is. And as far as good managers go, again, Jeff, I'm going to ask you, how are the Guardians still in this? The Guardians are still in the pennant race with everything that has gone wrong on that team this year. It has just been incredible, the job that Stephen Vogt has done.
Yeah, and he's also one of the funniest managers you could ask for out there, Dad.
Right. He is hilariously funny, but we stay away from the humor in the middle of a pennant race because he understands his role, that he's not, he can't just, yuck it up with people when they come into his office. They're in a pennant race. This is serious stuff. And last thing, Jeff, I've made it clear, no hot takes on this show, no controversy, no anger on this show. That's just not necessary. I'm just too old. But as you know, I just don't like the Ghost Runner starting on base in the 10th inning. So I can't even remember who it was. It's not important. But this was the lead to the story that somebody wrote the other day. I wish I remember his name. So-and-so hit a leadoff 2-run walk-off home run. A leadoff 2-run walk-off home run. So how can it be a leadoff home run, a 2-run homer, and a walk-off homer? Well, if it's leadoff, it could be a walk-off. How can it be a 2-run homer? Well, you come up with a runner at second base. You're leading off the 10th inning. You hit a home run to win the game. That's how you get there. It just doesn't look right to me.
All right, Dad, the Quirkjians, what do you have for us?
All right, well, Steve Sparks is now officially my new favorite person in baseball, okay? Former pitcher. He just has a different look at the game than everyone else. So like 2:30 in the morning, I get a text from him, and it says, Carl Jr. follows Burger King. That was the text. So now I got to go figure this out. Well, I figured it out like immediately. Was that Jake Burger faced Brian King. So Jake Burger of the Rangers faced Brian King of the Astros in the Burger King pitcher-batter matchup. It's not the first time. In fact, Michael King faced Jake Burger several times. And Jake Burger recently told me that the MLB Network did their 5 favorite at-bats of the season or whatever, and it didn't include the Burger King at-bat. And when Jake Burger saw Michael King, he said, how could they leave us off? Like, they all know that the Burger King at bat is like a big deal now. But following the Burger King at bat in the next inning, pitching for the Astros was Carl Edwards Jr. So he's Carl Jr. So following the Burger King inning, we had Carl Edwards Jr., Carl Jr. pitching. Jeff, this has added a new level, thanks to Steve Sparks, to the Burger King and our favorite pitcher-batter matchups. Am I wrong about this?
No, this is by far the best thing he's presented us, and he has presented us some incredible things. He is a seam head. He is a former guest. Dad, did we have him this season or last season?
He made us.
I mean,
we had him
I've
in
never
May.
wanted to repeat a guest this quickly with how much he loves this.
Right. We need to run back the best of Steve Sparks for this year.
Yes, we do.
Not just his interview, but all the other things that he has thrown my way. Just to keep in mind that, remember, Jose Altuve. His height is the same as his birthday, 5'6". May
That's
the
incredible.
6th. Now I can't stop. Every time I look at a guy who's is 5'10", I wonder, is he born on May the 10th? It's just ridiculous. But that's Steve Sparks for you, and I love it. Thank you, Steve, for providing that. All right, Jeff. Every week on the Quirkjians, we have strikeout notes because of the strikeout. And I hate to belabor this. I'm done with it now. But our boy James Wood, who's such a good kid and such a good baseball player, has gone through a massive strikeout streak here. So he had his 27th hat trick of the season. Hat trick means 3 or more strikeouts in a game. So now he holds the major league record for most games, 27 with 3 or more strikeouts, breaking a tie with Joey Gallo and with Mark Reynolds. So since we mentioned this a couple weeks ago, he's surpassed it. So being a journalist, I think we need to point this out, even though we're not poking fun at anyone. Just another reminder, Jeff, how hard it is to hit in this game. James Wood made the All-Star team. He was fabulous the first half of the season. Second half has been a struggle because the game is a struggle. Getting a hit is a struggle every night. I've told you a million times, Jeff. I watch a game, I go to a game, and I wonder, how does anyone get a hit anymore? That's what we watch on a nightly basis in the big leagues. And speaking of strikeouts, Jeff, Giancarlo Stanton, who we talked about on Tuesday, is he a Hall of Famer if he gets to 500 homers? He had 3 hat tricks since the last time we pointed this out 10 days ago.
Wow.
So now he's got 168 hat tricks in his career, and he's got a real chance now to catch Adam Dunn, who has the most hat tricks, 173 in Major League history. And Stanton did it during a stretch, Jeff, 26 at-bats, 18 strikeouts in 26 at-bats. And, Jeff, he had 7 consecutive games with multi-strikeouts. Luis Robert did that this year. And let's see if you remember, because we used this note earlier in the season when it came to Riley Green. Who holds the Major League record by a position player for most consecutive games with at least 2 strikeouts? I'm not going to torture you here. It's Aaron Judge.
Oh, that's
and Jeff,
right.
I tell you this because he's the best player in the game. And when he came up, he was not the best player in the game, but he's turned himself into this by just learning how to play the game. It's just so impressive that he could struggle that badly with a swing and now fix it to this point.
All right, Dad. Well, coming up next here on Is This a Great Game or What? We are going to have a seam head joining us who brought his very own Team Tim that combines Team Timness and seam headedness all together. We got on this
and Get Smart.
And Get Smart.
Right.
So, Dad, you are just losing your marbles over this list, as you should.
I'm so happy.
It is fantastic.
When you can combine a Quirkjian with Get Smart and get it into the you got my respect all the way through.
That and so much more coming up next. Welcome back. Is this a great game or what? On this date in baseball history, what do you have, Dad?
All right, Jeff, this date in 1968, Ray Washburn pitched a no-hitter for the Cardinals against the Giants. And the day before, do you know what happened the day before that in San Francisco? The day before, Gaylord Perry of the Giants pitched a no-hitter. So on back-to-back days, 17 and 18 of 1968, there was a no-hitter thrown.
Wow.
The same two teams were involved. That had never happened before in Major League history. Imagine you go to a game one day, see a no-hitter, and the next day someone from the other team pitches a no-hitter. Never happened before. All right. On this date in 1925, Jeff, Harvey Haddix was born. Harvey Haddix, nicknamed the Kitten, was a really good left-handed pitcher. Didn't throw overly hard, but had a great understanding. Now, let's see if you remember, Jeff. He was born in 1925. But what is Harvey Haddix's claim to fame in baseball history?
Harvey he has a perfect game, right?
Yeah, he pitched 12 perfect innings in a game in 1959. And then in the top of the 13th, at the bottom of the 13th in Milwaukee, he walked Hank Aaron, and then Joe Adcock hit a home run to win the game 2-0. But since Jeff, Joe Adcock passed Hank Aaron on the bases because Hank Aaron just kind of ran off the field because he thought the game was over. They didn't give him a 2-run homer. They only gave him a 1-run homer because someone was passed on the bases.
Wow.
So Harvey Haddix, Jeff, after that game in Milwaukee, apparently walked the streets alone because he was so upset that he had let his team down because he lost the game 1-0. And like Bill Mazeroski, one of his teammates had to go to him and say, Harvey, you just pitched 12 perfect innings. No one in the history of baseball has ever done that. And Harvey Haddix wasn't walking around like, oh my God, I lost a perfect game. It's that he lost the game.
Wow.
Now, Jeff, just go back to the Pedro Martinez argument that we had earlier this year. Let's just say if we played the same rules that we played today, I know this is 1 in a million chance, and Harvey Haddix is perfect through 9 innings. And the top of the 10th inning comes, and or bottom of the 10th inning comes, he's perfect for 9, and the ghost runner is bunted to third, scores on a fly ball, and Harvey Haddix strikes out the next batter, top of the 10th, let's say. He retires all 30 batters and his team loses. So he doesn't get credit for a perfect game. There'll be a giant asterisk next to it. But does that seem fair to you that a guy faces, in this case, as I make all of this up, faces 30 batters, retires all of them, and doesn't get a perfect game?
Yeah, Dad, we talked about this with Pedro Martinez.
Right, because he's the only other guy to take a perfect game into the 10th inning. And what would happen if we played the rules back then like we do today? Again, this is almost no chance it's going to happen. What if it did? But what are we going to do
what if
then?
it did? What if it did? And I think there needs to be a rule written into Major League Baseball's rule book that if there is a perfect game, you have not reached base, you do not get a free base. You have to earn that. You have to earn second base by at least reaching base during 9 innings. I think that needs to be a rule.
All right. Well, it's an interesting thought. All right. On this date, 1948, Ken Brett was born. Ken Brett, of course, is George Brett's brother. Ken Brett was a really good teenage pitcher in the major leagues, did some amazing things, and one of the greatest hitting pitchers of all time. As I told you earlier this year, Jeff, he hit a home run in 4 consecutive starts. No pitchers ever hit a home run in 4 consecutive starts. George Brett told me once, Ken Brett was the best hitter in our family. I know that. And George, of course, is a Hall of Fame hitter. That's how good Ken Brett was. Another birthday on this date is Ryan Sandberg, 1959. The late Ryan Sandberg. We lost him in the last couple of months. Terrible loss for baseball. And Jeff, 40 homers in a season, won an MVP, one of the great hitting second basemen of all time, but an absolutely brilliant defender also. And I told you this story. I'm going to tell you again. Lloyd McClendon got on base with the Pirates once. He swears he got hit by a pitch on purpose. So he's on first, and he is hoping that in order to get back at the Cubs for hitting him on purpose, He says, give me a double play ball so I can go kill Sandberg at second or kill Sean Dunston at shortstop. Nothing against them personally, but that's the only way to take out your anger.
Right.
You hit me on purpose, I'm going to punish you for that. So there's a ground ball to the shortstop. And McClendon is running to second, and his eyes get this big. And he goes, great, I got it. I get a chance to crush Ryan Sandberg at second base. So he says, I got him in my sights. And then all of a sudden, he disappeared. And Ryan Sandberg got the out at second, avoided a very angry, big, sliding runner, got away from him somehow, jumped over him, and completed the double play. So when you want to know how great Ryan Sandberg was, you can see all the defensive metrics, all the defensive stats. Think about that play. He was a magician around the bag with his footwork. Because you know why, Jeff? Because he worked at it. And that stuff really, really matters. And last birthday, Jeff, Seth Beer, one of my favorite baseball names. He was born on this date in 1996. Now, let's see how well you remember the team, Tim's, from this year. What team was Seth Beer on?
Was he part of all drink team or all spirits team? Or?
It was the all St. Patty's Day team.
Oh, that's right.
Right?
Seth Beer.
Right. Seth Beer was our first baseman. How much do we love that?
From Ozzie To Orel, Dad, we count down the best players at each number from 1 to 55, and today, number 46.
Yeah, this was tricky for me because Andy Pettit wore number 46, but I'm going to go with Lee Smith. Hall of Famer Lee Smith, saved 478 games, pitched for a bunch of teams, including Cubs, Red Sox, Cardinals, Orioles, a monster coming out of the bullpen, 6'6". I was told once that Lee Smith used to love to take a nap in the clubhouse, and would for the first 3, 4, 5 innings of the game. He's the closer, so he's never needed. So occasionally he would take a nap in the clubhouse and then wander out to the bullpen in the 5th inning of the game and then be ready and rested for the 9th inning. And this is terribly self-serving, Jeff, but I played basketball with Lee Smith a lot of times, and I'm saying at least 50 different times I played basketball with Lee Smith. He was a great college basketball player, 6'6", could really shoot it, but it used to drive me crazy playing with him because he was playing with a bunch of sports writers mostly, and he was the biggest and best player on the court. He decided that he would never go near the basket because it was too easy. I'm bigger than everyone else, and I'm better than everyone else. So he loved to just shoot threes. So I would risk my life getting into the paint and pass it to him for a layup. And he would kick it out to a 3-point shooter, or he would kick it out and go shoot it himself. That's what Lee Smith was like playing basketball. Not many people could say, yeah, I played basketball with a Hall of Famer, but I did. And Lee Smith was great fun to play with. But sometimes it was better when he was on the other team because it wasn't as frustrating.
All right, Dad, number 47. Who's the best player to wear that number?
Yeah, that's Tom Glavine. He won 305 games, Hall of Famer, won 2 Cy Youngs, led the league in wins 5 different times, and in each of those seasons, he won 20 games. You know how nobody wins 20 games anymore? Tom Glavine did it 5 times, made 10 All-Star teams, and as we learned from Tom Glavine, we knew he was a great hockey player, but he got drafted ahead of Brett Hull in the NHL draft. And let's see if you can remember. Remember when we asked Tom Glavine, who was such a great guest this year?
So awesome.
What was our hypothetical about penalty shots in an NHL game?
I think we asked him if he took them now, how many would he make?
Out of 10, yes. What did he say?
I think he said 3 or 4,
no,
right? Am I correct?
He went like this. He goes, and this is why we love Tom Glavine. He recognizes the different levels, and he recognizes he's an older guy now. He said, maybe I could score 1 goal. And I challenged him, come on, you're going to get more than 1. He goes, I don't think so. Maybe I can only get 1 goal out of this. So that was Tom Glavine on our air earlier this year. If you haven't heard that episode, you need to go back and listen to Tom Glavine. He was great. He's our best number 47 ever.
The best of all, Tim, we take a different franchise, different organization, and Well, Dad gives us the best player to ever play. And right now we have Cleveland, which I spent 3 years in Cleveland, Ohio, working for Cleveland's Q104, my first radio gig out of college. I love this city, Dad. So there's a lot riding on this for me personally. Who do you have?
Well, this was really hard because Tris Speaker played there, but he didn't play his entire career there. And Nap Lajoie played there, didn't play his entire career there, but the bulk
Cleveland
of
Naps.
Yeah, and they named the team after him, so it really should be him. But I've kind of narrowed it to guys who played their entire career in the 20th century on. And even though Nap Lajoie played his entire at the time Indians career from 1900 on, and his numbers are just ridiculous. He's one of the 3 greatest second basemen of all time. But I'm going with Bob Feller just because his story still, to me, is so amazing. He joined the Indians in 1936. He was 17 years old, Jeff, and he struck out 17 batters in a game when he was 17 years old. And when the season ended, Jeff, of course, he's still in high school. So imagine striking out 17 in a major league game. Then you go back to high school and you're going to geography class, science class. How can that be? That was Bob Feller. You remember that story, right?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. I mean, it's always your go-to Bob Feller story at all times. And I just love because, I mean, I was umpiring 10-year-olds at age 17, Dad, and he was striking out 17 at 17.
Right.
That's
so
crazy.
He led the league in wins and strikeouts 3 years in a row. And then World War II came about. The Japanese invaded Pearl Harbor, and he enlisted. So he missed 42, 43, 44. And he did that on his own. And you remember the story I told you. I'm not going to tell it again, how he screamed at me over the phone when I asked him why he enlisted. That's another story for another day. But so he comes back full time now in 1946 and leads the league in wins and strikeouts again. So he did that in 4 straight full seasons by him. He led the league in strikeouts 7 years in a row. And Ted Williams once told me the hardest pitcher I ever faced, or the best pitcher I ever faced, was Bob Feller. So when Ted Williams tells you that, you really listen. So he's my greatest Indian/Guardian of all time. It's a controversial choice because I know Nap Lajoie is on the top of a lot of lists, but Bob Feller played his entire career with the Indians, and that means something for me.
No doubt about it, Dad. Now, we're excited. I've been really looking forward to chatting about Dan Simon. He is our seam head this week. And, well, I actually, before we talk about, well, we're going to talk about Dan, but before we bring up what Dan is talking about, I want to read Paul Caputo's email, Dad. So he writes, I understand that you're going to highlight Dan Simon on your show. He would never volunteer this information because he's way too modest, but Dan is a big name in the world of minor league baseball. He's the founder of Studio Simon, the design firm that has created logos for the likes of the Savannah Bananas, since we just had Jesse Cole on, right? The Memphis Redbirds, Erie Seawolves, just to name a few of literally hundreds, plus Super Bowl logos, and work at the major league level. If you share this on the podcast, please pretend like you stumbled on that information yourself. I'm sorry, Paul. I have to thank you for this because I really appreciate you taking the time to honor your friend Dan, because Dan is a next level seam head and has created something combining seam headedness and Team Tim and Get Smart like we've never heard before, Dad. This got you so giddy, right?
Right, it did. Look, anytime you include Get Smart in anything, you can count me in. And Get Smart, of course, Maxwell Smart, the greatest sitcom character of all time. He had a saying. He would look at the chief, who was just exasperated by Max all the time. And Max would go, missed it by that much. So Dan Simon came up with the all missed it by that much team of guys who came really close to amazing numbers and missed by one. And we'll just give you one. Ian Kinsler at second base finished with 1,999 hits. Missed by one hit. And then Dan includes at the end Joey J, who I grew up watching, finished his career with 99 victories and 999 strikeouts. So he missed 100 wins and 1,000 strikeouts each by one. It took a lot of work to come up with this, and that's why we have Dan Simon as our seam head of the day.
Hi, I'm Dan Simon, and I am a seam head. Tim has mentioned several times on the podcast that his favorite sitcom of all time was Get Smart. And for those of us who also enjoyed that sitcom, we know that one of Maxwell Smart's catchphrases was missed it by that much. So I have put together the all missed it by that much team. We're going to start with the outfielders, actually, because the impetus for this idea was knowing that Al Kaline retired with 399 career home runs. And how do I know that? Well, because I am a seam head. So we've got Hall of Famer and 18-time All-Star Al Kaline retiring with 399 career home runs. Second outfielder is two-time All-Star and beloved Brooklyn Dodger Carl Furillo, who had a .29946 lifetime batting average. Our last outfielder is six-time All-Star and only player with 500 hits for four different teams, Rusty Staub, who had 499 career doubles. Now let's move to the infield. Our first baseman is Hall of Famer Cap Anson, who had a batting average of .3994 in 1881, missed 400 by that much. Our second baseman is four-time All-Star Ian Kinsler, who retired with 1,999 career hits. And our third baseman, Hall of Famer Jimmy Collins, who also retired with 1,999 career hits. Rounding out the infield, our shortstop is seven-time All-Star and AL batting champion Michael Young, who had a .2999 lifetime batting average. Our catcher is Hall of Famer from the late 1800s, Jim O'Rourke, who retired with 1,999 career games played. Full disclosure, he was primarily an outfielder, but he did play 231 games at catcher. Our pitchers start with Eddie Seacott, known for his part in the 1919 Black Sox scandal. He had 29 wins in the regular season that year. Our second pitcher, six-time All-Star, who won back-to-back MVPs in 1944 and 1945, Hal Newhouser, who had 29 wins in 1944. Our third pitcher is seven-time All-Star Billy Pierce, who had 1,999 career strikeouts. And my favorite on the missed it by that much team is two-time All-Star and two-time 20-game winner Joey J, who got the double whammy with 99 career wins and 999 career strikeouts. Lastly, our manager, four-time Manager of the Year and World Series winning manager Bobby Cox, who had 1,999 career losses. In this case, good to have missed it by that much. The last thing I want to say is, with regard to Rusty Staub, career doubles may not be that sexy of a category, but he's included because Rusty Staub's full name is Daniel Joseph Staub, and my full name is Daniel Joseph Simon, and I am a seam head.
Dan is incredible. Thank you for sending that note. Thank you for sending that team. Dad, this is next level. Truly. The amount of work that it takes to go find all of these very unique missed it by that muches is so, I don't even know if that's the right verbiage.
Right.
But
No, but that's perfect, Jeff. And that's perfect Get Smart, perfect Dan Simon, and perfect baseball, that all of these things happen. And you just look and say, God, he missed it by that much. I love it.
so excited for next week. Dad, you and I are taking a little bit of a family vacation. We go to the Outer Banks every single year with families, Dad, that you grew up with. All of the dads, so to speak, are all now grandfathers, but all of the dads have been going since college, and now kids have kids, and it's a whole thing. So we're going to be doing the podcast, though, and Dad's going to be working, and I'm going to be working from the beach house in person together, Dad. Are you excited? Should we wear bathing suits and tank tops for the pod? What do you think?
Not a chance, Jeff. No. I'm not going to be seen in a bathing suit for the rest of my life. You need to be ready for that. Now, Jeff, let's be clear, though, and I need to say this. I don't care how. This is the worst week you could possibly go on vacation other than October. Yeah. But let's be clear. I took one for the team here. I don't deserve any credit for this. This was the only time we could get the beach house. This was the only time that everyone else could go. So I'm not going to ruin it by not showing up or saying, no, I can't go. It's too close to the end of the baseball season. So I'm going, and I'm going to be covering baseball somehow, some way from Kitty Hawk, North Carolina for about 5 days, and I'm going to do the best I can, and so are you.
I love to hear that, Dad. Well, we'll be back with you next week. Kevin Brown is going to be a guest. We've got Jeremy Schaap lined up. There's going to be so much great podcasting, so make sure to hit subscribe wherever you're listening right now and share the podcast with a friend. Dad, thank you so much. Thank you, members of our family, for listening, and as always, thanks for being a part of our family.